can we not have a day in which we mourn before we engage in some very divisive debate over an issue on which there's been no agreement in this country for a very long time?
You truly hope that in a moment like this, we can move beyond politics.
Do you need to politicize this today? Can you just stand down for a moment?
We're never going to stop this by being firemen afterwards. We have to be arsonists. We have to start the investigative fires in advance, because these kinds of attacks don't leave that many footprints if you don't have the sources to cut them off in advance.
But you've got an entire American political party organized to prevent that from happening.
Well, not only that, you have an entire American political party committed to open borders. I mean, seriously, but this has just gotten, this PC society is sickening, and it's damn dangerous to American citizens. And thank God we have a president who finally understands the threat, too, by the way. I mean, look where we'd be now if we still had this apologizing and not using the word terrorism anymore.
I'm almost 50 years old. I remember when things like this didn't happen in New York, ever. And now they seem to happen with some frequency. It seems obviously tied to immigration. Why is the country unwilling to have that conversation, to face that?
Because there is something in that conversation that is still taboo, which is the ideology. Don't touch the ideology, says the mainstream media, academia. Unless we change politically and intellectually, we're not going to get anywhere. And if you listen to what the Egyptians and UAE and even the Saudis recently and others are saying, of course you need to talk about the ideology. They are saying that, and we're still behind.
So you're saying that the Saudis are freer about talking about Muslim extremism than, say, the Hillary Clinton campaign?
So number one, no more political correctness. That gets thrown out of the window.
I look at a CNN fake news chyron, and it actually says, witness, suspect was yelling, God is great, in Arabic. Okay, he said Allahu Akbar. So somebody of fake news CNN, there is this fear.
Initially, New York authorities and Mayor de Blasio denied that it was jihad terror. And this follows a pattern in the West. They deny that jihad terror is jihad terror, and even when it's obviously jihad terror, they still continue to deny it. He was yelling Allahu Akbar. That was Muhammad's jihadist war cry. His last name...
By the way, if you were watching CNN, it was a little different. He was witness. Suspect was yelling, God is great, in Arabic. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and his last name was Saifullah, which means sword of Allah. And I'm sure when he was vetted by immigration authorities, they knew that this man was moderate, and they knew that his name meant that. The fact is, Muslim immigration means more Islamic terrorism. It's just that simple. President Trump has tried to impose national security restrictions, and again, the leftist Islamic Alliance has opposed it.
I know one politician who saw the danger. Back in August of 2016 in Youngstown, Ohio, candidate Donald Trump had this to say about radical Islam.
Nor can we let the hateful ideology of radical Islam, its oppression of women, gays, children, and non-believers be allowed to reside or spread within our own countries. We must use ideological warfare as well, very important, and they use it on us better than we have ever even thought of using it on them, but that will change. Just as we won, thank you, just as we won the Cold War in part by exposing the evils of communism and the virtues of free markets, so too must we take on the ideology of radical Islam.
After he was elected, President Trump issued an executive order to temporarily halt travel from countries of concern and crack down on illegal immigration. For that, he was branded as cruel and heartless. You know what's cruel and heartless? Bikers and pedestrians run over in broad daylight in a major American city. That's cruel and heartless. Trump's instincts about what it takes to secure the homeland are correct. Protect our borders, deport lawbreakers, build a wall, halt refugees from certain countries given the severity of the threat. Tonight, I'm also thinking of those activist lower court judges, like those two Obama appointees who just weeks ago ruled against the president's travel bans, calling them anti-Muslim. Though Uzbekistan was not on the list, it should be. I'd love to ask Judges Derek Watson and Theodore Schwang, Is it now time to restrict who comes into our country? Shouldn't we now make sure that all visitors or U.S. visa holders are not a threat to our citizens?